Ready. We are ready. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a wonderful, how many? 0 weeks? A week in between. Welcome back to Career Sessions. These are offered by the Skills Office at RDB. And my name is Lydia Ngabile. I'm a labor market matching specialist. And as some of you, we've been together for quite many sessions. I know most of you follow these sessions, have followed these sessions from the beginning up to now, and we're still together. I want to give out a shout out to those loyal fans. We really, really appreciate your time being with us. And just to clarify, we are in Kigali. And so in the comment section, please tell us where you are, where you're joining us from. If it's your first time joining, let us know. And we do really welcome you. Now, if you're going to watch this this session later, we are happy that you made the time to be with us here. Now, previously, we've been having sessions about how to write your resume, how to write your cover letter, how you prepare yourself for a job interview. We've gone over personal branding. Just that, I want to just give you that recap. Now, we are entering into a session where we'll be telling you different sessions. Now, today we're talking about business development, and there are so many initiatives that are in Rwanda that are aimed at making sure that you are helped to kickstart your business, to grow your business, and especially if you're youth, if you fall into the category of women, it is amazing things that are happening. Now, today is a special day because we're going to discuss about your entrepreneurial journey with us. With BDF mainly, not RDB. RDB can help you in some sort, but there's so many different initiatives. But today we're going to have a candid conversation with BDF. We have a representative from BDF. Now, if you don't know what BDF is, that's the Business Development Fund that was initiated. Our guest will be telling us when and what impact has been made and all the good stuff. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you're struggling in any way, sit tight and welcome, because this is the session. And if you have any business going on in the chat box, please let us know. It's really good to know what kind of entrepreneur you are. Some people, you may find some partners on the chat as well. Now, that is a brief session. That's a brief introduction. Now, if you're following us on Skills Rwanda, our YouTube channel, greetings. If you're following us on the RDB LinkedIn page, you're welcome. And if you're following us even on Skills Rwanda Facebook, you're so much welcome. Like I said, this session was organized by the Chief Skills Office here at RDB. And these are sessions that are aimed at giving our people, young people, even the older generation, information about the opportunities that are available either in skills development or entrepreneurship journey. Anything that leads to job creation, anything that builds human capacity, that's our role as a Chief Skills Office here in Rwanda. So with that brief introduction, please allow me bring in my co-host, Norbert, who's going to share and briefly introduce our guest today. Norbert, are you there?
Hello, Lydia. Thank you for that warm introduction. I am very excited to be here today. It's been, I think, just over a week or 2 weeks exactly, actually. And yeah, it's always good to be back. I see today we have some new faces, especially from LinkedIn. A lot of the comments are coming in from LinkedIn. Just to read a few, I see Vishal here is telling us, see you in Kigali next year. Absolutely, we look forward to meeting you, Vishal. Come home and come enjoy. There's also people joining from Kenya. I see Stacy there joining from Kenya. Then we have also other people from Kigali, the first timers, Patrick Shema, Guys, so welcome. It's really good to welcome the new timers. If you're new here, this is Career Space. We have our shows every bi-weekly on every Thursday from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And usually they stream on YouTube and Facebook. That's on Skills Rwanda, and then also on RDB on LinkedIn Live. These sessions are also recorded, so if you've missed one, you can always go back to our Skills Rwanda page on YouTube or Facebook and catch them there. Also, let your friends know, in case they missed it, that they can also catch up sessions over there. I stand to be corrected, but I think, Lydia, this is our 7th one, or is it our 6th?
I haven't been keeping count, but our followers surely know which one it is.
Maybe that's a question we can ask our audience. What is today? What is our What number show is this that we've been hosting? Please let us know in the chat box. Also interact with us. Let us know what shows you'd like to see in the future, and we will make sure we bring those to you. Now, let me not waste more of your time, and let's get into it. As Lydia had said, today we welcome BDF. I'm really excited as an aspiring entrepreneur, as an aspiring businessman. I really want to know what BDF can do to help me in terms of business advice or in terms of financial services. How can they facilitate my small, medium enterprise in succeeding in this very, very tough economic situation? So we have today Albert Mujisha. He's the corporate relations officer, and he'll be telling us all about the different products they have, but also about BDF and how they can help you succeed in your journey as a business person. And so without further ado, I think I'll hand back to Lydia, and then we can get the show started.
Thank you so much, Norbert. Thank you. Let us welcome Albert. Albert, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us. And now, personally, I'm very excited to get into this session because I've been a business person before, and I know where I failed and where I want to get better. I want to get better. So we're really excited. But before we get into it, Albert, would you tell us about yourself, what you do at BDF, and what is BDF?
Okay, thank you, Lydia and Norbert, for having me. I am Albert Mujisha. I work with BDF as a corporate relations officer. I've been with the institution for 5 years now. I think it's time to go. And yeah, and to obey your instructions, Lydia, I am in Kigali. You mentioned that we should confirm where we are. I can confirm I'm in Kigali. Thank you for having me.
I hope your boss didn't hear you say it's time for you to go.
I'll be a good ambassador for the institution.
I don't think he will let you. He would let you go. No, so I understand BDF as an institution, like from a personal perspective. As I was graduating from university, I was so much interested in agriculture, and my first encounter with BDF, or the first time I got to know about it, they were talking about how BDF can support youth in agriculture and that. But then we also know that BDF is a larger institution and does so many initiatives and runs a couple of products. Yeah, so because BDF has business development fund in it, so there's the business development part. Now, would you talk to us about some of the services that BDF offers prior to giving you the funds? Before we get to funding, how does BDF help me? Does BDF help me in planning my business plan? What services are there before we get to the financing part?
Okay, yeah, thanks, Lydia. Yeah, you're right. BDF has been in place for quite some time now. The institution was established in 2011 as part of the financial infrastructure that has been put in place to support other programs that are available to push the area of entrepreneurship, to cover different gaps that exist. And we started with only 2 facilities, like you've mentioned, one of them was pre-finance business support, business advisory. But as we grew over the years, we have had different programs come in, and most of these have been developed based on the need of the market. We've been able to study where the gaps are and be able to develop these financial products to fill these gaps. But 2011, it was those two. It was pre-finance business advisory services and credit guarantee being the core product that is a financial product. To answer your question on pre-finance, there is also a variety of services under that. There is investment advisory, where we support in business plan writing. And again, that is also in different stages. We may have someone who has an idea, and the support that they need is to put this idea into paper. But again, we may also have someone who has been able to develop a draft of the business plan, and the support they need is modification of the business plan or fine-tuning of the business plan. So we have had chances where we give this service again at different stages. But again, apart from the advisory on investments, we also have capacity building business advice. We have different trainings that we offer to potential entrepreneurs, to people already in business. But again, we also train microfinance institutions and also big banks, commercial banks that may need capacity building in different areas. So even the pre-financing section has different areas that I would love to talk about more as we go on with the discussion.
Super. Thank you so much. Now, when it comes, so I'm just going to ask this question for my young people out there who have their ideas and they are not so sure if they're the right ideas to take to bring to BDF. Now, do they bring them to BDF directly? How do they go to the bank? How do they? What is the initial stage? What someone has the idea, but they're not so sure if it's the right idea. How do you help them?
Thanks, Lydia. So when it comes to pre-finance services like a business advisory support, we do this directly. It's between BDF and the potential beneficiary. We have 30 branches. We have a network across the country. At least in every district, there's a BDF branch. Formerly, these were BDCs, Business Development Centers. They are now BDF branches. Every support or service that you would get in Kigali, in the BDF head office, you're able to get it in any district that you stay in. So if you have an idea or you have a gap that you want support on when it comes to business plan writing or being sure that your business idea can work, you can walk into any BDF branch in the district. And maybe after the session, we'll love to share where these offices are located exactly. We'll find a way of sharing contacts of our staff in the district. But yes, you can go into any BDF branch or BDF head office in Kigali, and you'll be able to get this service at the BDF directly without using other partners that we use in other services that we offer.
Great, thank you so much. And I think for now, I'll keep my questions about, pre-financing and business advisory. But what we've learned so far is that you can go to BDF and they will help you formulate your idea and then direct you, advise you on how best to fine tune it so that it's suitable to move forward. That's a great help. No, but do you want to take us through what else BDF has to offer?
Yeah, thank you very much, Lydia. And thank you for actually just explaining that, Albert, because, before I always heard about BDF. I've seen BDF, but I really thought it was just more of a financing side of it. I didn't know they had the business advisory services. So that's actually very good to know. And just our audience, if you're starting your business and you're struggling to write up a business plan, go to BDF. They're there to help you. One of my favorite quotes is, if you fail to plan, that's a plan to fail. So make sure you have your business plan ready before you actually start your business. And BDF is there to help you with that. But now let's go into the financial services. And I know you have quite a couple, Albert. So I want you to help me understand the difference between them and how they actually work and how somebody can access them. And so maybe let's just start with the credit guarantee. How does that actually work, and how can our young audience, our young entrepreneurs get access to it?
Thanks, Norbert. And maybe before we talk on the financial products, there's a point, you've made a very good point about the trainings. And we need to be clear that it doesn't have to be Norbert alone. If you're able to formulate a group and you want a group training, this can also be arranged. So you can walk into a BDF office as a group and modules will be put in place, or we can tell you what we have in plan and see how you can fit in to benefit from these trainings and other modalities that are involved. So when it comes to financial services, and especially the credit guarantee that you've just mentioned, Norbert, credit guarantee is our core product. Actually, that's the reason why BDF was created. In simple words, credit guarantee is a service that we give an individual, a company, or a cooperative for them to be able to access credit from a bank or microfinance institution or a SACCO. It's a risk cover that we give to your financial institution for them to feel comfortable to lend to you. Now, the credit guarantee cuts across all sectors. It could be any type of business as long as it's legal in the country. I know, but you need to note that.
Thank you.
As long as it's legal in the country.
Ignorance
I
is
think
not
it's
an
important
excuse.
to mention that when I say across all sectors. Yeah, and the range that we cover is between 50 and 75%. And the 75% being the maximum and being more of a privilege for women and youth. It is for specific groups, women, youth being people below the age of 30. It's also for people who live with disabilities, for veterans, different few special groups. But the rest, if you're above 30 years and you don't belong to those groups, then the maximum that BDF can cover in terms of credit guarantee is 50%. Now, we work with more than 416 financial institutions. This number includes commercial banks, includes microfinance institutions, it includes SACCOs across the country, and we have partnerships with these financial institutions. They know the modalities, they know what is required to be able to support anyone who walks into a bank with a good business idea, but they find probably there's a shortage in terms of credit cover, in terms of collateral, and that's where BDF comes in to chip in.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, so I just want to repeat something, and I want to know if I got it right. So if you're the youth and you are a woman entrepreneur, BDF can cover collateral up to 70%. And if you're 75%. And if you're above 30 or a male, then it's 50%.
Yes.
Okay,
but again, this is also based on your own contribution. So 75% being the maximum. But again, you may be in a position to raise your own contribution up to, let's say, a tune of 70%. Then what BDF will come to do is a top-up, that being 30% of the risk appetite of the financial institution that you plan to work with.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. That's something interesting to know. And then you have also the Economic Recovery Fund. I imagine this one is from, it came after COVID. It came in for economic recovery after businesses were affected by the pandemic. So just explain to us how now this one is different and how people can access it.
Yes, no, but that's a fact. That's a true observation that the fund came up after the effects of the pandemic, the pandemic that we are still in currently. And there are different components of the fund that the government put in place. But as BDF, what we are managing are two components. That's being, again, credit guarantee for working capital loans that can be given to businesses that were badly affected by COVID. But again, we also do SACCO refinancing, where we support SACCOs. These are savings groups in Mirenge SACCO, in sector levels, to be able to have enough liquidity to lend out. Now, the credit guarantee under ERF is a bit different from the normal guarantee that we have, because this is for loans that are given at a lower interest rate. These loans are given at 8%. And maybe there's something we didn't talk about when it comes to the normal credit guarantee. This is the commission fee. You may ask, how is BDF able to sustain itself if it's able to cover all these loans out there? Where is the revenue part? So we charge 2% commission fee, and this being 2% of the cover that we have given you in the bank, not 2% of the total loan facility. It's 2% of the guarantee that we have given you. So that's for the normal guarantee. When it comes to credit guarantee under the Economic Recovery Fund, the interest rate is 0.25%, and you are accessing these loans at 8%. So you can see it's a very subsidized facility, and it's really helpful, especially for businesses that have been shocked by the pandemic that we are in. So under ERF, if I've answered well, no, but it's those two components, being credit guarantee and giving capacity to SACCOs for them to be able to issue small loans of up to a maximum of 1 million Rwandan francs.
Okay, and so that's very interesting. So I'm just thinking now, why would I get the credit guarantee, which is the interest rate is quite higher, as opposed to economic recovery at 8%? Is there a certain requirement for people to access that economic recovery fund?
Yes. So this was put in place to come in as a solution for businesses that were affected by COVID. So we will look into your financial statements, how you were before COVID and how you're standing now, and you should be able to prove that the challenges that you're having currently in your business are due to COVID. We know the first lockdown was April 2020. So it should be the shocks that your business has faced when COVID or the lockdown had started. And there are some conditions before we are able to come in and chip in terms of credit guarantee. You are supposed to have a pre-approval given by the central bank. So the central bank has a checklist of the things that they look at for them to determine that you can benefit from the Economic Recovery Fund. But again, it's not a very cumbersome process. It has been made easy so that this facility is able to benefit as many people as possible.
Okay, that's very. Thank you for that. Thank you for enlightening us on that. And then, of course, then there's the agribusiness financing, which I know is very common within BDF. The name actually kind of tells that it's agriculture, but please elaborate for us.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Maybe,
so, yes, Lydia.
Albert, before we could get into that section of agribusiness, someone had a LinkedIn user, no name, had a question, and I think let's respond to it before we have more. Hope you can see it on the screen. So BDF will support will help support a global initiative in Rwanda, as I'll be traveling to Kigali in the next month. So the businesses, does it support, a global initiative, or is this has to be a Rwandan initiative? How does that work? I don't know if I got the question right.
Okay, if I'm to respond to the question in that sense that you're putting, Lydia, it should be a business that operates in Rwanda. Okay. And when it comes to ownership, at least the majority shareholder, at least more than 50% of the shares in the business should be owned by a Rwandan.
Okay.
Yeah, and it should be, when it comes to credit guarantee, it should be a business that's able to be financed by a bank that operates locally for us to be able to provide that credit guarantee.
Makes sense.
That's very interesting. LinkedIn user, you heard that. Find yourself a Rwandan business partner and then you're ready to do business. And I see a lot of you guys on the chat box looking for partnerships, looking for connections. Talk to LinkedIn user. He looks like he wants to invest in Rwanda. Lydia, can we quickly also just cover Muriel's question down there? I think
Yes,
she also
please bring
has
it
one
up
that
on
came in.
screen.
Okay, so Muriel just basically asked, what characteristics does BDF take into consideration to deem a business a good idea when it comes to financing and crediting?
Okay, yeah, thanks, Mire. When it comes to credit guarantee, which is a product that we give out in partnership with the banks, with the financial institutions, basically these loans are given out by commercial banks. What BDF does under the credit guarantee facility is to cover the risk, a percentage of the risk appetite of the bank. So what is required is the business idea will go through the normal credit underwriting process. The due diligence will be done by your bank. They'll make sure that it's profitable. There's a market for what you're trying to sell. The supply chain is good. You have the raw materials for what you want to produce. I'm sure no bank would feel comfortable to only be sure of the raw materials that you have for 1 month, then they're not sure what you'll do to get the raw materials for the next few months for you to be able to continue the production. So these are different dynamics that your bank will look at to make sure that your business is able to start, but again, is able to continue and you're able to pay back these loans. When it comes to BDF, when it comes to products that we lend directly without using banks, again, we also have different processes that we follow. But again, those are the major issues that we look at, the areas of markets, the areas of your own contribution when it comes to a product like Norbert has just asked about, that we're going to talk about, the agribusiness. One of the elements is that you should be having some percentage as own contribution for us to be able to finance the rest of the financing that is required. So it's the normal credit underwriting process that your business goes through for you to be able to benefit from these different services that we offer.
Thank you very much, Albert. I hope Muriel's happy with that answer. And it's a very good question, because it goes back to what the business advisory services that you guys provide, is that you can actually help them with the business planning, with the writing up the business plan, to ensure that the bank, to iron out those little problems that the bank might find. So I heavily advise you to also consult their business advisory services.
Yes.
Now, you were going to tell us about agribusiness financing. Talk to us.
Yes. Thanks, Norbert. So the agribusiness financing is one of the products that we give directly, like I said earlier, without using the banks or the financial institutions. And the product was designed to cover agribusiness financing. So these are specific sectors, areas of horticulture, for a person who is going to do modernized livestock, someone who is going to do some kind of an innovation, generating a product, for example. There should be some kind of a processing that we're talking about, some kind of an innovation, able to move, maybe to create juice out of fruits, to maybe make biscuits out of sweet potatoes. We are trying to encourage more of processing as we move from primary production. So when it comes to primary production, it's only in horticulture, aquaculture, those few sectors. But if you're able to do processing, then that puts you in a better place to benefit from agribusiness. We can finance up to a tune of 10 million Rwandan francs. And another good thing about this facility is that 30% of the component of this financing is grant. Grant being money that we put into your business that you will not pay back. So it's 10% own contribution, 30% grant, then the 60% is what will be a loan. This is what you pay back. The beneficiaries of this facility are graduates, someone who has graduated from secondary school or university and has been in the market or has not been able to find a job after 2 years. So for you to be a potential beneficiary of this, you're supposed to have graduated at least 2 years after before you benefit from this facility. It was a way of encouraging graduates to go into agriculture and this area.
That's good to know. It's good to know. I hope you guys are writing this down. But if you're not, don't worry. This session is recorded, so you can catch up. But if you I'd suggest you get your pens and paper and write some of this down because it's really interesting. And then there's a leasing facility. Talk to us, Albert. Talk to us.
Yeah, thanks, Norbert. So when it comes to leasing, we help people to acquire machines for the projects that they want to promote or to start and get money out of. Currently, we are working with ICPCs. These are, in Kinyarwanda, we call them Uduchiro. These are integrated craft production centers. These are groups of people or cooperatives that are operating in these specified centers that are in almost every district. We are able to help them to access machines that they need for different stuff that they do, different projects that they do. And this is given up to a maximum of 100 million Rwandan francs at an interest rate of 11% with a 3 months grace period. So recently, when we had just started, it was limited to a few sectors, to carpentry, to leather and tailoring. But we have just expanded that to more different sectors, manufacturing, agriculture, different sectors have come in to make sure that we widen the number of beneficiaries under leasing. So maybe you may wonder, how about someone who is not belonging to these ICPCs, to these groups in the district? We partner with Minicom. So if you're able to create a good business idea that requires leasing, you can consult Minicom and get a waiver or get special permission that would allow BDF to facilitate you to get leasing under this facility. So you can be able to promote your own project without belonging to these cooperatives that are in ICPCs, that are in these centers in the district.
Wow, that's another insightful initiative. I think also because there was something you said about like that you've expanded it to sectors, and can we get this where can we get this information? Is it on your website? Is it anywhere? Which sectors you're dealing with specifically with this leasing agreement?
Oh yes, we have this information on our website, www.bdf.rw. Again, you can walk into any BDF branch in the district that you belong in. You can write to us through our Twitter handle. We have an official BDF email, info@bdf.rw. You can get in touch with some of us who work in BDF through our Twitter handles, or you can email us. We have this information. We have tried to spread it to make sure that it's accessible to the public.
Okay, no, interesting. And then I think the final one is the grants. How does that now work?
Yes, so under grants, we also have again different segments of grants, but grants being either a portion of your financing that we give to your bank to be able to lessen the loan repayment burden. We have one of the components being Women and Youth Grant, where we work with financial institutions and BDF is able to cover a percentage of your loan up to a maximum of 15%. For example, if you're getting a loan of 5 million, this grant enables you to pay up to 85%, and the rest is covered by the BDF grant to offset your loan repayment. Then we have also managed different grants. These may not be permanent. Some of the grants that we manage are temporary based on the demand that's in the market at that period of time. Over the years, we have managed what we call PRICE in partnership with NAEB. This is a board that's in charge of exports, where we have supported people in agriculture with a grant of up to 50% of the total cost of the project. So people get a loan and 50% of it is covered by a grant. So we also have a grant called under RDDP to basically support people who are in dairy sector. Again, this also has different metrics, but the essence of it is to be able to support people to get into these businesses without a huge loan burden. RDDP, for example, we've been able to cover up to 60% of the total cost of the projects for youth and different segments that operate in this sector. So there are different components of grants. Some of them are not permanent, but every time we have a grant on board, we are able to notify the public so we can have these applications and people can be able to benefit from the grants. Again, we have most of this information on our website, and apart from those other channels that we talked about, we have a call-free line, 4777. You can be able to make a call anytime, and our call center agents will give you the information that you need for different programs that you want to benefit from.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a lot to actually swallow, and I think, but just it's very enlightening. And I myself, I'm going to have to go back and visit your website and get all this information, because there's a lot that I didn't know, but now I know. I think maybe Lydia, you want to take us into the other non-financial services that they have?
Just before we get into that, I would like to receive some of the comments. I would like us to address some of the comments that have been shared in the chat box so that our audience gets the responses they deserve. So we have Jean Bosco is appreciating the initiative, and let's see. We have a question from Daniel. Daniel says, will the business have to provide collateral to guarantee the loan?
That's a good question from Daniel. When it comes to products that we finance directly, yes, we do require collateral. For example, when it comes to agribusiness, for us to give you a loan, at least the part that is a loan part is supposed to be covered by a collateral. Again, these are risk mitigating factors that we also have to establish internally to make sure that in case of anything, then we are able to share the losses. But again, that should not discourage people. When it comes to agribusiness, the 30% component of it being grant is quite a good facility to encourage people to go into agribusiness and benefit from this facility.
I definitely agree. So bring up the collateral that you have. And then we do have a question from Michelle. Like, do you partner with international investors?
Okay, yeah, thanks, Michelle. International investors, I am not sure which angle she's looking at, but if it means someone who wants to come in and start businesses in Rwanda and benefit from some of these products, as we said earlier, again, we look at the ownership of these businesses. We want to be sure that at least more than 51% of the shareholding structure is owned by a Rwandan.
That wasn't very clear in terms of, which side of the business. You want to partner with BDF to, supply help in the activities in giving out loans, or do you want to benefit from the schemes that they are providing? So, but if for more information, you can always check out their website and get in touch. And you can always get in touch with Albert on LinkedIn. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer more of your questions. And then we have a question from Silver. He says, do you back customers who have bad credit history due to the pandemic drawbacks? I guess this
Okay.
would fall into the category of the
Very, very good
recovery.
question.
Yeah, that's a very good question from Silva. Yeah, that's why the government was proactive to put in place the Economic Recovery Fund. And internally, as BDF, we were able to separate, when it comes to credit guarantee, we were able to separate these two facilities. The normal credit guarantee that has been in existence even before COVID, uh, this is a credit guarantee that is given to very profitable businesses. We want to be sure that you have a business idea that is able to pay back the loans, but what you're lacking is collateral, is the risk cover that should be there to make the bank comfortable to give you the loan. But for businesses that were affected by the pandemic, these can benefit from the Economic Recovery Fund. Uh, these banks that we work with have been supported by the central bank to have enough liquidity to issue out loans at a lower interest rate of 8%. And in that facility, you're also able to get a credit guarantee cover from BDF within the Economic Recovery Fund. So yes, you can benefit in that area.
Sounds great. And then we do have quite a comment from our student from the University of Rwanda, the College of Agriculture. This is Eric. Eric would like to ask Mr. Albert the minimum condition to be funded project, how long it takes to get that grant. And he sends a thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I am not, he's talking about a grant, again, the grants that we have are in different components. So when it comes to credit guarantee, the minimum condition is it should be an idea that ticks the boxes that your bank is looking at before they give you the loan. When it comes to BDF and the direct lending products that we give, like agribusiness, again, we have a checklist that we use to make sure that you can qualify for this facility. Maybe what I would encourage Eric to do is to approach any of our branches in the district that is in. I'm sure there he will be able to be specific on the type of grant or facility that he's looking at. And how long does it take when it comes to credit guarantee? It depends on the process that is done within your bank first, because your file comes to BDF after the bank has already done its due diligence on your file. And what we do as BDF, we try to minimize the response time to at least 7 working days, so that we make sure there is no delay between the time you submit your file in the bank and it's analyzed in BDF and you're able to get a final feedback and the loan is disbursed to your account. Within BDF, it's at least 5 working days. And when it comes to direct lending, again, it depends on the information that you have given us. But all in all, we are doing our best to make sure that there's efficiency in these services, to make sure that these loans are given out on time.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then we have a question from Kalina. Does RDB or BDF currently have any global initiative for those of us from other countries that are seeking to connect and do business with Rwanda, or any advice for those wishing to do so? Now, in terms of RD, on the side of RDB, I know the chief skills office, together with the Rwanda community abroad. If you're Rwanda in the diaspora, or if you're Rwandan and wishing to do business in Rwanda, either offices, the chief skills office and the Rwanda community abroad, organizes a special sessions depending on what kind of business you want to do and what service you want help in. So those two are your gateways to get facilitated into doing business in Rwanda, or in any advice, or where you want to start your research from, or what businesses are good to invest in. So those two offices. I don't know if there's any initiative by BDF to facilitate the Rwandans abroad.
When it comes to BDF, again, we look at it in the areas of pre-finance. When they are already here and they want advice on, let's say, what sectors to invest in, we can also chip in terms of pre-finance advisory services, business plan writings. We have experts who understand the market well enough, so we can chip in that area. And again, when it comes to our financial products, when it comes to financing, that's where we're able to fill in the gap.
Super.
Yeah, so let me just also add on to that. I think also this may be my concern, people that are not Rwandans abroad, so foreign investors. RDB does facilitate that, and just write to us so we can get to know you better, and then we can address your query, because there's a lot of foreign investors that we do have coming to us, but we need more details. What are you trying to invest in? What are you looking for? What kind of partnerships are you looking for? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Norbert. I think for the rest, we will get back to the Q&A, but first we want to exhaust all the services that our partner, our guest host, has packaged for us to share with us today. And we want to make sure that we give you all the insights so that your questions are answered to and responded to. And then, so BDF offers non-financial services as well. We have the IT services and the Irembo services. Albert, would you like to explain to us what does that entail?
Yes, Lydia, thank you. So our branches across the country are equipped with facilities that enable people with IT services. All across, you want to access the internet, you want to print, you want to make applications via the Irembo platform. We have partnered with Irembo to do this. Currently, we have also partnered with the police when it comes to driving license processes. We have our branches offer these services. So it's quite a package. I would really encourage the people, especially in the district, if you want to access some of these services, please walk into any BDF branch and you will be facilitated.
Thank you very much. And I think during the session, we've taken up most of the questions, but if you have any other question that you feel that we haven't responded to, please share that with us. And if we do not get to your question as well, there is always, you can always reach us. We can connect on LinkedIn and we can discuss further. Please, if you are an investor and you're looking to invest in Rwanda, check out the RDB website. And RDB is really working hard to make sure almost all the services you need are accessed online. And we have a really great team that's working to make sure that you get the services efficiently and wonderfully without a struggle. And we always have a great team that's always ready to help, information on what you need. So check out the RDB site. It always has great information. So let's look in the chat box to see what questions we haven't responded to. All the foreign investors, we really encourage you to come to Rwanda. There's great initiatives. We will be having more conversations about investing in Rwanda and how navigate that. So please stay tuned. It will be a wonderful session. Let me see.
Lydia, if I may, as we are looking through the questions,
yes.
One of the issues that we have always, well, it's more of a feedback that we have received, especially from the youth, is that, as BDF, you come in and you cover this credit guarantee up to a tune of 75%. What happens to the remaining percentage for someone who is not able to raise even that? So what we encourage, especially the youth, to do is to come together. Instead of launching that business as Norbert alone, maybe look for people who have the same mindset when it comes to business, people who may be able to buy into your idea that you are trying to start. Get Lydia, get Albert, start together as a company, And this becomes at least easy to raise your own contribution or the residue of the credit guarantee that is required. Because the maximum that BDF can offer is 75%. And again, that is because of different reasons. We want people to have that ownership into the business. You don't want to be covered 100%. There are other moral hazards involved in that.
Exactly. That sounds more of like aid, and from what we've been reading, at least aid isn't that much great.
No, not at
You
all.
can't have things handed to you on a silver platter. It's not good. It's not good for
It's not.
business. It's not good for anyone. So let's see. I'm coming to, this is David. David is coming to Rwanda. Welcome, David. It's nice to have you in Rwanda from South Africa. Very good neighbors. To look at an investment opportunity, will I get support from RDB? Absolutely. Depending on what support you're looking for, because this is so broad and open. But RDB is always willing to support you in any way they can, where possible, so that you get the support you need to be able to invest. See, so we do have this is our great LinkedIn user. He's really asking, are the banks that you work with Rwandan banks, African banks, or international banks? So I think this is for you, Albert.
Yes, thank you. We work with all banks that have operations in the country. So we have some of the international banks that have their entities, they have their branches here. We have partnerships with them. We have local banks, and we also have microfinance institutions that we work with. All in total, we're talking about more than 416 financial institutions.
Ooh.
Super. I think you've got your response. Ed, no, but you want
Sorry,
to
sorry.
add a comment
I
there?
just, yeah, I just want to jump in there. Just to help our audience and also ourselves, you say you have 416 institutions that you work with. Is there a listing of these institutions so that some of the foreign investors or some of the local entrepreneurs, business people can know exactly which one to approach for this?
Oh, yes. Actually, that's very good feedback from you, no, but I think we need to avail the list of this on our website. But as of now, if you're able to call in or email us and inquire on a specific financial institution that you want to work with, you just want to be sure that BDF has signed partnership with that particular financial institution, then we can confirm that with you. But we have noted that feedback too. We'll find a way of availing this list or this information to the public on our website.
Okay, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Great. And let's take one question we have. I'm not sure if this is a question or a comment. I'm Eric connecting from Kigali. Thank you for this awareness. Our company's GIA Property Talks deals in real estate and consulting, working with different investors. I think someone is trying to mention their business out there. And I think this information was really helpful. So we do have our LinkedIn user. Well done, BDF. Any information to share on plans towards the digitalization of services?
Yes, I think it's a good observation. I think he's trying to inquire if most of these services that we offer can be accessed online or through digital platforms. Yes, we do that. We have an online web app. When it comes to the products that we give directly to the beneficiaries, you can access this information and you can even make applications online. And even these financial institutions that we work with when it comes to credit guarantee, what has created efficiency is the fact that we have automated these services. So yes, we are doing quite well when it comes to digitization.
Wonderful. One question from Salam. I'm Rwanda and I have an agri-business project which I have not been able to fund. What is the procedure? I think we've discussed this in details, the procedure. If you missed it, you can catch the recap, but you can check out the BDF site together with all the rest of the information that Albert shared. I think this will be helpful to you, Silo. Otherwise, I think we're coming to one of those. Thank you so much for everyone who's followed this conversation. Mr. Albert, I want to ask you one thing. If there is only one thing that you want the audience, our super wonderful, engaging audience, to take away from this session, what would it be?
Yes, if it's one thing I would say is that there are so many opportunities in place. Entrepreneurship and the private sector is an area that the government of Rwanda is investing hugely in. Opportunities are there. BDF is just one of the financial infrastructure. Again, very equipped with different services that we offer. What we need to do is to make sure that we get to know more of this information. And as BDF, we keep doing our best to make sure that this information is disseminated out there. And what I would not want to miss a chance of thanking you, Lydia Norbert and RDB for this initiative and for bringing us on board to use this platform to talk to potential entrepreneurs and existing entrepreneurs regarding the opportunities that BDF avails to support them.
Thank you so much, Albert. Norbert, one thing you want our audience to take away from today's session?
You know, Lydia, I have actually like 100 of things to say for them to take away. This was a very interesting session. I myself learned quite a bit, but I'll make it very brief. And I just want to first of all thank Albert. It was really a pleasure having you on the show. I think you've been a great ambassador for BDF, and I think a lot of our audience have learned quite a lot, things that they didn't know, things that they assumed, but have now found out the truth. And to our audience, it's always a pleasure to service you. It's always a pleasure to take in your questions. It's always a pleasure to present to you. We have a lot more show coming in the following weeks. Please tune in. Please follow us on Skills Rwanda. Please follow us on at RDB. And yeah, just write to us whenever you want. Tell us what you guys want to see next, what interventions, projects, or companies you'd like to have here on Skills Rwanda. And just before I go away, I just want to really leave one comment that really impressed me is the digitalization of your services, Albert. We are in a pandemic, so we need to learn to do things digitally without, it makes it easier for the customer. And so I was really, really impressed with that, and keep it up. Thank you very much. Over to you, Lydia.
So David is asking if he can get Albert's contact. I think Albert is on LinkedIn, and so you two can connect over there. And we're always open to connect you. Yeah, please check out Albert Mugisha. He's on LinkedIn, so you can connect. Otherwise, thank you so much, our audience. It's always a pleasure to have you all. And if there is one message that I'll put out there, for you to be an entrepreneur, you have to be bold. So be bold, be proactive, reach out to these institutions. They may sound as big institutions that you may feel afraid to approach, but please do approach them because they're there to serve you. Give yourself space to learn as much information as. So be bold, take the initiative, take the step, go out there, get the information from them, let them do the job to help you succeed in your business. Thank you so much and have a wonderful time. We will see you next time on our next session. Please, let's connect on LinkedIn. If you need further information, write to us at skills@rdb.com. Reach out through RDB website. We can also connect on LinkedIn and where else? Everywhere you want to do, everywhere you want. Rwanda is open for business, and we're really making sure that we bring the opportunities to you, and you use them as much as they are, and they're needed for you to make great use of them. So, ciao, ciao. Until next time. See you. Bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.